Welcome back, Sports Nightly, here on the Husker Sports Network. Greg Sharpe here, and delighted to be joined again by T.R. Raimondo from Balin Manufacturing, as we're going to talk about the wonderful program in the state of Nebraska called Dream It, Do It. We talked about it a little bit last week, but a couple new ambassadors we wanted to introduce you to here this week. So last week, T.R., we reviewed the campaign, 11th year now for Dream It, Do It. So many wonderful opportunities out there for people and things for them to think about as they get to put their careers together and their educational paths to get to that career. And one thing that's, I know, of a concern to a lot of parents, grandparents out there is the cost of education now is certainly way up there. Your thoughts about that and how Dream It, Do It maybe can help guide some people?
Well, Dream It, Do It works hard on that subject. And why? We find that 85% of the students have no idea what career education path they want to pursue. 15% have a dream, so let's all support those dreams, doctor, fireman, whatever. But in the meantime, when they don't have an idea, we want to help students identify a skill. If they identify a skill, they can get a job. And a skill can be welding, CNC machine, technical in nature. We are now in a digital global economy, so skills pay the bills. And if you process that through, they get a skill, they get a job, they can continue their education, and guess what? Business pays for it. I don't know any businesses, and I'm sure there's a few, but all of our sponsors have tuition reimbursement. And we want our people who have skills to get additional education so the companies can grow. So skills pay the bills, and students can get that career going debt-free.
That's music to a lot of people's ears to hear that terminology. And, you know, as you mentioned, young people are trying to find their path, and their path may change a little bit through life. And we've got an example of that here. Jenny James is with us. She is with the Electric Company of Omaha. Before we talk about the Electric Company of Omaha and your duties there, that's not where you have always been, correct?
That's right.
Tell us kind of what you did and how you got to where you are now.
So in high school, I always had the dream to become a nurse. So I had 3 years, actually, of nursing school under my belt prior to making this switch. I guess not typical to being an electrician at all. It's a huge change. What happened actually was my scholarship ran out, and I needed at least 20 to 30 grand more to finish, and I didn't have anybody that was willing to co-sign on my loan, so life had changed a bit between those times. And so I, of course, didn't have the money, and working as a CNA, you didn't make enough to attribute that much to your college degree. So it's just kind of one of those wake-up calls where it was like, well, what are you going to do now? So I actually took a year working as a dental assistant and office manager at a dentist office in Omaha, and I just used that year to really research and figure out what I could do with a company that was willing to either reimburse me for tuition or have a school like the IBEW NICA apprenticeship provides. So I just kept coming back to electrician all year, and I really like that it is a trade that you actually have to apply yourself to. Not that, I mean, all trades make you apply, but there's a lot of knowledge. You use both your mind and physical endurance, which isn't typical to every trade. And the more I learned about it, the more I got interested, and that led me to the OJEATC website where I applied and later met Dan Smith, the owner of ECO. And he really gave me a chance. Most of the people that they accept have to have construction experience as well as do really good on the entrance exam. And I had none. Clearly, I only had a medical background, so I really appreciate that he did that for me.
Tell us about a typical day at work for you. What do you do?
So it's actually very interesting. I mean, it could be anywhere from digging trenches to lay underground conduit, unloading material for the journeyman to complete his tasks, always being there for the journeyman for sure, bending and installing conduit. I mean, it's a variety of things, and there's a lot of applied math that you have to have on the job. I mean, it truly is a craftsmanship when you're working with these journeymen that can look at something and be like, it needs an offset here and this, and they don't even have to measure anything. Of course we do now because we don't
Sure.
have that craftsmanship yet, but getting that opportunity to see that, I mean, skilled labor like this, a skilled trade, is so valuable, and you're literally learning a skill that's always going to be needed. I mean, every time they bill even a remodel, electrical code changes. So you're likely going to have to replace the entire electrical system, and that, I think that is just so valuable, because it's no matter where this, country goes, wherever anything goes, it's always going to be needed.
Absolutely. Jenny James again with us. What a fascinating story. Also, another one of our ambassadors is Tim Clough, who is with NMC. Great company. It's been a part of Dream and Do It for years. Tim, just talk a little bit about kind of what your background, what your skills. What do you do on your job on a daily basis?
Well, I went to school. Initially, I went to school to become a music major. I wanted to pursue opening my own recording studio in the Omaha area. And after about 3 years of college, I realized maybe this isn't what I want to do. And I still love music, absolutely, but I didn't have the passion for it to make it a career. And so I dropped out of college altogether and pursued just feeding myself for about 5 years. And then I kind of got into turning wrenches as a mechanic, started working on motorcycles and cars. And then I heard about the sponsorship program at NMC, free tools, free school, and I was totally sold. I said, let's do it. So then I went to school for 2 years to be a diesel technician, and guaranteed job afterwards. It was a total no-brainer. So now I'm a full-time technician, and I just try to get as much exposure in the industry as I can.
Something you probably never dreamed of growing up, and yet here you are doing this, and it's paying bills.
Absolutely. Yep.
What do you enjoy about it?
I love the variety. Any given day I could be bolting on a bracket, or I could be making an electrical harness. I could be bending steel. I could be, I could be troubleshooting a hydraulic system. It could be any number of things, and I love that I'm rarely doing the same thing 2 days in a row.
Makes days go quicker, doesn't it?
Yes.
When that happens. Tony, two wonderful examples of young people who maybe kind of thought they had a vision and then changed it and took advantage of this with these great companies to do some really good work.
Is that a perfect example of 85% of the students are in a search? And it's not easy, but keep pursuing that search and keep looking for new ideas. It's very exciting. I would just add that alternatives are interning and apprenticeships are really gaining momentum.
Right.
And all of this is about business reaching out to education, business partnerships. Very exciting time. Nebraska education and business are partnering together and changing quickly.
Fantastic. Tim, Jenny, appreciate you both coming in and talking to us about this. TR, always great to see you.
You bet.